It's no secret that North Dakota has a large supply of lignite coal, and how, through an efficient mining process, using some seriously big equipment, lignite is extracted from the ground. But now what? What happens to the coal after it is mined? When you walk into a room and turn on a light switch, there is so much more that goes on behind the scenes to light up the light bulb. Let's take a look at the energy production process. After lignite is mined or dug up, large coal haulers transport the lignite coal to a nearby power plant. Power plants will keep a supply of lignite coal that can last up to several months to ensure there is never a stop in the production of electricity. North Dakota's lignite coal has a high moisture content. Transporting it long distances by train or truck costs a lot because for every 3 train cars or truck, one would be just water. That is why most power plants in North Dakota were built right next to the mines. These power plants are called mine mouth power plants. This also helps keep electricity costs down for customers. There are 6 power plants in North Dakota that use lignite coal as the fuel source: Coal Creek, Antelope Valley, Leland Olds, Coyote, Milton R. Young, and Spiritwood. Each power plant has slightly different parts, but the process is largely the same. To begin, coal delivered to the power plant is moved by a conveyor to a pulverizer where it is crushed or pulverized into a fine powder. Turning the coal into powder allows it to burn more quickly. The powdered coal is then fed into the combustion chamber of the boiler by air, where it is burned at an extremely high temperature. Water runs throughout pipes that line the boiler. The heat produced by burning the coal heats the water into steam. The high-pressure steam flows into a steam turbine that contains propeller-like blades. The steam pushes these blades and causes the turbine shaft to spin. At one end of the turbine shaft is a generator that consists of a magnet and a series of coils. When the magnet rotates inside the coils, the electrons in the coils begin to move and flow. This flowing of electrons is electricity. A transformer steps up the voltage of electricity for transmission, or moving the electricity via power lines. Once the electricity gets close to where it will be used, it is stepped down in voltage to be used at homes, farms, and businesses. Steam that pushes through the turbine is drawn into a condenser where it is turned back into water. That water is returned back to the boiler to be heated again and again, repeating the process many times. Because this water is continually recycled, very little replacement is required. Water used from cooling the steam is called circulating water. In some power plants, this water is taken from the Missouri River or other water sources through the condenser and back to the water source with very little change except an increase of a few degrees in temperature. Other plants use a system called closed-loop cooling. These systems reuse the water 10 or 20 times. Water is evaporated in cooling towers to achieve the needed cooling. The electricity made from North Dakota lignite coal is used to power about 2 million homes and businesses in the upper Midwest. So, how does that electricity make it to houses and buildings? That is the job of miles and miles of power lines. Lignite-generated electricity is shipped by wire on power lines and distributed to homes and businesses at a lower voltage by distribution lines. Did you know that around 2/3 of the electricity generated in North Dakota is produced by lignite coal? But that's just half the story. Around 1/3 of Minnesota's electricity is generated from coal, including North Dakota's lignite coal. North Dakota has some of the lowest energy costs in the U.S., thanks to the large supply of lignite coal and the cost-effective methods of converting it to electricity. Having low-cost electricity is important for North Dakota. In fact, we have some of the hottest summers and coldest winters in all of the nation. We depend on our energy to keep our homes warm in the winter and cool in the summer, and that requires a lot of energy. With low-cost electricity, we're able to keep costs down while using reliable power. There are so many ways to generate electricity, like wind, water, and the sun. Lignite coal, however, provides consistent, reliable energy. Coal is a big source of electricity used today, not only in North Dakota, but all over the U.S. North Dakota has an 800-year supply of lignite coal that can be used. Electricity is used for more than just light bulbs. You know that computer you use to do your homework? Electricity. Phones and tablets that need charging? Electricity. Game consoles? Electricity. There are even cars that run completely on electricity. We depend on coal to provide affordable, reliable power, and we depend on our environment to provide those resources. Because of that, people in the lignite industry, especially those in North Dakota, are constantly brainstorming new ways to be even better to our environment, to make everything cleaner and more environmentally responsible. The land we have right here is beautiful, and because of what's found in it, we can power our TVs, light our homes, and keep ourselves warm, all through homegrown energy. Just as we rely on our land, it relies on us to protect, preserve, and care for it. That's what North Dakota Pride is all about, appreciating the beauty of our state and doing everything we can to keep it that way.